Jesus is King. The Kanye
I did not. I should have. I don't even care anymore.
I would say Kanye is maybe the worst thing that has happened to Jesus.
Whoa. Okay.
He's the Antichrist.
He is. Like, who fucked over Jesus? Judas?
Yeah.
Judas is looking at Kanye going, whoa. Like, I know I fucked up. But low-key, what I did created Christianity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What Kanye did is going to create atheism. Like, if there is a giant move from Christianity to atheism in America amongst the black community,
Right.
it might be from this album.
Oh, it's going to be. Bro, I heard Yay or whatever the last album was, and I knew it's done.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I thought you were just being contrarian, to be
No,
honest.
I actually liked Yay. I thought there were some good songs on
And
it.
I got bored. I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. I was like, I can't do it, man.
Dude, I wanted to like this one, maybe because I do have some contrarian in me. Sure.
Yeah.
I really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
I was on a plane flying down to Palm Beach for shows, and I was skipping songs.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that this was bad.
Yeah.
Because if you're skipping songs about God on a plane,
On the
like if there's one point where you just let that shit run to the end because you're like, God, just help us, can we land? You know what I mean? Like literally all you're thinking about. And I was skipping through, so I couldn't even fucking listen on the plane.
But to a first listen, to skip means that shit is trash.
Trash.
And how many tracks he got on this?
11?
Limited, right?
I think 11 or something
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
like 10 or 11.
10 or 11.
Yeah, I
Now,
assume to be short.
I assumed that you would listen because he got your boys on it. I know you were a big Clips fan.
I'm a big Clips fan. I need to hear that song. I mean, I was out of commission all day yesterday. My back been fucked up.
Yeah.
I was on painkillers and whatnot.
Yeah, real talk.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen at some point, but I know it's gonna be trash. I talked to my brother-in-law, future brother-in-law,
Yeah.
big Kanye fan.
Yep.
Swears he's a genius. All of that. I asked him what he thought of this album. He was like, I didn't get to listen to it all the way through yet.
Son,
Because
can we
you
have
can't
Son.
finish, bro.
Can
I'm
we
a
have the
Kanye stan.
Kanye? Say again.
I'm a Kanye stan.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I don't like an album of his.
Now,
First time in my life, I don't like an album. It feels rushed. Doesn't
it's just
feel mixed
trash.
right.
It's just trash. It's not good music.
Yep.
I think we need to start having the conversation, which is, what is he so great at? Like, Kanye puts himself in the same ballpark as Steve Jobs,
Da Vinci.
Walt Disney, Da Vinci, right? Like, let's use those three people,
Yeah.
right? Like, those three people changed the course of history with their work, right? Like, Steve Jobs literally changed the way we listen to music. He
It changed the way we talk to each other.
He changed the way we
Everything.
talk to each other. He changed the way that we interact. All these things were because of Steve Jobs, right? Walt Disney.
This fucking thing right here
Steve Jobs.
changed everything.
100%, right? Now Walt Disney, I'm not too familiar with like how cartoons and that kind of shit worked prior.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he had some like instrumental
Cartoons as
change.
theme parks? I was talking to my friend who was talking about an exec. She was at some network and now she's a free agent. But she's like, I want to make cartoons. I'm very interested. If you have a cartoon, give it to me. And he was like, why? And she goes, theme parks.
Yeah.
And just that way of thinking blew my mind. But that's Walt Disney. Anytime you go to a fucking amusement
Star
park,
Wars park, Harry Potter
Yep,
park, all that shit
of
is
it.
Disney, right?
All of it.
So he literally changed the way human beings interacted with the world they're in.
Yeah.
Right? And he invented a thing. Like Steve Jobs he wasn't the first person to do a phone, but he invented a way the phone is used completely different.
He
right?
changed the way internet phones. Remember Palm Trios?
All
Those
that
suck
bullshit.
dick. Horrible.
Right? I'm not too familiar with Da Vinci shit. I know that the guy that has got his arms out, whatever. And then I really don't know that many things. But I know he was like an inventor, right?
Yeah,
I know
man.
you got that guy right
He's
here.
maybe the most like brilliant guy ever. Maybe.
Okay, so he's a super brilliant
Yeah.
guy, right?
Yeah.
I know he was in Assassin's Creed, right? I think he built some of the things for that.
One of the Ninja Turtles.
He was one of the Ninja Turtles. This guy was a Ninja Turtle, right? So he made a barreled cannon. He made an animator. He made a revolving bridge, winged flying machine, the airplane, diving equipment, self-propel. I mean, this guy really knew what he was doing, this Da Vinci. Now, Kanye truly hasn't invented anything. And I've said this about him forever, but like he's just taken shit that is very normal and almost corny for white people, and he's made it cool for black people.
You cannot deny his impact on fashion, whether good or bad, is crazy.
But hold on, let's back. All of his impact on fashion is appropriate from white people.
Sure.
He has not. I guess what I'm trying to do is like when we're talking about Da Vinci, right? We're talking about Steve Jobs and we're talking about Walt Disney.
There's a difference between inventors and influencers.
Right. So if you're going to call yourself one of these great minds like them, you have to invent.
Yeah.
Kanye is a influencer. Black people really, or used to at least, really trusted his sense when it comes to music and fashion, and he was able to sell them certain things that they hadn't been sold before, right? But he did not invent the dad shoe.
No.
White dads have been wearing that forever. He did not invent the pink polo. There was a reason why he was able to buy it, because it was already fucking invented. Right? You didn't say make it pink. You walked right into fucking Nordstrom's. You went right to the golf section, and you started dressing like those guys. Right? Same thing with like the baggy ripped sweaters. Nirvana had been doing that shit forever. Soundgarden has been doing that shit forever. Like, you did nothing at all to innovate fashion. Now, music, we can say that he is an innovator with music, and that's fine. I've never been a big Kanye fan, but I can't say I hate his music. I like tons of his songs.
He's got a lot of shit that's good, but you know, he might be his most brilliant thing that he's ever done is saying he's a genius.
Selling mediocrity
is the most genius thing he's done, and I don't want to say mediocrity because he's good. He's got some fucking classics.
I'll give him elite at music. I'll never say anything about that. I'll give him
but elite at music is different than genius, and he's called himself genius until we believed it, and it's the next level of what Jay-Z did. Jay-Z would be in the GOAT conversation, but the first person that put himself there, as far as I know, was Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I wish Kaz was here because he knows music better than I do, but I remember Jay-Z saying, I'm the greatest, before anybody else was saying it.
Well,
we were still big in Pac.
Jay-Z goes, who's the biggest, Pac, Biggie, Jay, or Nas?
Yeah.
So he put himself in the middle of these four people at a time where nobody even considered him close to the greatest,
which
right?
Is really smart.
And
Kanye did that with his own genius.
Yes. And he's been calling himself a genius, and I think he's so influential within a subset of people. Most white people don't think Kanye's a genius, right? Like this, he thinks he's a genius, and he's operating in the vacuum. But like, if you ask my dad, you're like, "Hey, is Kanye a genius?" He'll be like, "Who?" Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like literally the majority. Like Asians aren't going, "Oh, Kanye, that guy's a genius."
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody in China thinks he's a genius. Nobody in, maybe in Africa, maybe doubtfully in India. I doubt they're going, "Oh my God, that Kanye guy, that guy's a fucking genius." Like rip clothes, y'all been doing that, right? Like, so it's like.
That's all we got.
Those are clothes.
That's what they sell at the store.
You mean clothes? So it's like, I think there's a situation where Kanye has convinced a small group of people that he is great. That small group of people happens to be the most culturally influential group of people on the earth now.
Yeah.
Black Americans.
Right.
So if Black Americans are supporting this thing, the rest of the people that want to be involved in cool and hip culture,
you convince us,
follow.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, you've done it right, but if you think Kanye convinced my dad to wear those Nike Starbucks or whatever they're called, Nike, what is it?
Yeah. I forget what they're called.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Those old dad shoes.
Those Pete Carroll shoes.
The Pete Carroll shoes, like my dad been wearing them forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you think he convinced my dad to do it, like I was into Nirvana way before Kanye ever thought that was cool. Right? So I just think we got to call out Kanye on his genius card. Maybe his genius is convincing people that he is one.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only genius I've never bought into Kanye's a genius.
Yeah.
Really gifted musician.
Yes.
Undeniable impact on fashion. Whether it's stolen or not, he influenced it. But ain't no genius. That's a fucking lofty word to throw around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use genius on one person, and maybe it's because I don't know music like I know comedy. I know you don't say you don't use it for anybody. I use it for one comedian, that's Chappelle.
Yep.
I think the way God, and only a comedic genius. I don't think Kanye thinks he's a genius, period. If you wanted to sell me musical genius, I could be like, all right, fine. Mm-hmm. Chappelle's a comedic genius. That's it. Yes. That's the only person I see.
That's fair, and I would agree on that. I guess there's a world where we go, yeah, Kanye is a musical genius.
Maybe.
I'll give it to him.
Okay.
I'll give it to him. What I will say is I give him tons of credit for his ability to seemingly not care what other people think and buck a trend.
Yeah.
So, like, while as a white guy I don't see it brave wearing dad shoes and these types of things, maybe his community would scrutinize that type of clothing so much to be able to wear it would be a brave thing to do.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Maybe my community is a little more accepting of clothing that's not that cool.
Yeah. Y'all been dressing weird.
We've been dressing weird forever.
Yeah.
We invented this shit.
Yeah.
You know? I admire that with somebody that is in a position to lose so much to like double down on his influence and then end up changing the way other people operate. I do admire that, and he needs credit for that, no doubt. But to me, he's the ultimate influencer.
That's why him and Kim are married.
That was brilliant. So it's just like Kanye and Kim are the same thing, but Kanye is Kim with a skill.
Yeah.
The knock on Kim...
That's how you say it.
Right?
I couldn't figure it out, yeah.
But the knock on Kim is, what are you good at? Well, what she's good at is influencing people.
Right.
And she knows exactly how to do it, exactly what to put in her body to make it look away so it influences people, how to operate, what part of her lifestyle she should show. She knows what the fuck she's doing, right? Undeniable. Kanye is that, but also happens to be elite at music.
Right.
And if Kim was good at anything, I think that... And if she was really good at anything, let's say she was really good at let's say she was good at music, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
And then she called herself a genius, I think we'd be like, whoa, you're just good at music.
Right.
You're good at music and you got girls putting on, like, lipstick, but you're not a fucking... Like, if anything, Kim is actually more... If we're talking genius as influencer, Kim is more of a genius because... Kim has changed the way women's faces and bodies look.
It's insane. Dude, every hot girl just looks like Kim now.
Yes. So, if you want to talk genius in the Kanye sense of it, meaning just influence and culture, to get someone to wear something is a much smaller investment than to get someone to change the way they
surgery.
look.
Surgery.
If influence makes you a genius, Kanye isn't close to as genius as Kim.